He accidentally blurted out what he thought of her curves, and her shocking reply changed everything. The orbital station Helios Crown was not a place for careless words. Suspended above the storm-racked planet of Aegir, 4. It thrummed with power conduits, fuel lines, and the quiet footsteps of the thousands who lived within its pressurized hull. For the most part, humans and aliens coexisted here, merchants, engineers, mercenaries, and exiles, all orbiting the same fragile dream of survival. Kai Mercer, a tired mechanic with grease permanently under his fingernails, had long ago learned the importance of silence. On a station where a loose tongue could get you challenged to a duel, or worse, expelled out the nearest airlock, Kai kept to himself. He worked long shifts repairing coolant arrays and slept even longer shifts in his tiny berth on Deck C. But one evening, everything changed. Beginning the slip of the tongue. Kai had been assigned to escort a representative from the Veari Dominion, one of the more enigmatic alien empires that had signed a fragile trade pact with humanity. His supervisor told him only, "Make sure the Veari engineer doesn't touch anything explosive." The alien woman who arrived was not what he expected. Tall, lithe, and carrying herself with the unshakable poise of someone raised in command, she moved like liquid silver in the dim light. Her uniform clung to her form in elegant folds of shimmering fabric, the kind that adapted to both atmosphere and vacuum. Kai, in his rumpled jumpsuit, suddenly felt very small. They walked together through the narrow corridors of Helios Crown, discussing reactor conduits and plasma shield harmonics. The woman, who introduced herself only as Lyra, spoke with a voice that carried like soft music. She asked pointed questions, sharp enough to suggest she already knew the answers, testing him. Then it happened. Kai was crouched by a console, trying to explain how the human fusion stabilizers differed from the Veari crystalline reactors. Lyra leaned closer, her body casting a long shadow over him. The shimmer of her uniform accentuated every graceful curve of her form. And Kai, sleep-deprived, distracted, and human, let his thoughts slip past his lips. "Stars above, you've got perfect curves." Silence followed. He froze, eyes wide, realizing he had spoken aloud what was supposed to stay buried deep inside his head. Lyra straightened. Her eyes, violet, faintly glowing, fixed on him. For a long heartbeat, Kai thought she might call for the guards or demand his execution. Instead, she tilted her head and whispered, almost playfully, "At last someone has the courage to say it." Middle. The dangerous reply. Kai thought he was hallucinating. A Veari dignitary should have been offended, insulted, furious. Instead, Lyra smiled, the faintest curve of her lips breaking her normally regal mask. "Do you know what your people call us, mechanic?" she asked as they walked deeper into the engineering deck. Kai shook his head, still recovering from the weight of his mistake. The Veari curve. A cruel little nickname. They say our bodies bend like the orbits of unstable stars. They say our beauty is a weapon, that we ensnare humans with shape alone. She paused. "But none of your leaders have ever dared say it to my face." "You did." Kai swallowed. I didn't mean to." But Lyra silenced him with a raised hand. "You meant it. And perhaps, for once, honesty is refreshing." That night, Kai expected to be reassigned, or executed. Instead, he received a private summons. Lyra wanted him to personally oversee the integration of human stabilizers with the Veari power core. No other mechanic. Only him. Days turned into weeks. He worked alongside her, learning her language, her gestures, the subtle glimmers of her alien biology. Her skin shimmered faintly when she was amused. Her pupils dilated like twin suns when she was angry. And sometimes, when the long nights dragged on and the station lights dimmed, Kai swore her hand lingered too close to his on the console. Then came the secret. In the middle of a storm cycle, when the station shuddered under Agar 4's magnetic surges, Lyra revealed the truth. She was no mere engineer. She was the heir apparent of the Veari throne. Her presence on Helios' crown wasn't for research, it was for negotiation. She was to decide if humanity was strong enough, clever enough, worthy enough to be allies in the Dominion. And somehow, a clumsy mechanic's slip of the tongue had shifted her course. "You are the first human who dared strip away the mask," she told him. "The first who treated me not as untouchable royalty, but as a woman." Kai laughed nervously. "I didn't exactly mean it as diplomacy." Lyra's violet eyes softened. "Perhaps not. But sometimes, truth changes more than politics ever can." The rising conflict. Not everyone welcomed their growing closeness. Rumors spread across the station. Whispers of the human mechanic who shared secret smiles with the alien dignitary. Rival factions, both human officers and Veari delegates, watched with suspicion. The alliance was fragile enough. A scandal could shatter it. Then sabotage struck. A coolant line ruptured near the Veari core, threatening to overload the entire station. Evacuation alarms blared. Engineers scrambled, shouting over the comms. Amid the chaos, Kai dove into the maintenance tunnels, Lyra close behind. Together they fought to stabilize the system, sealing ruptures with plasma welders and rerouting conduits by hand. The station shook violently, artificial gravity flickering. At one point, Kai lost his grip and nearly plummeted into the reactor shaft, but Lyra caught him, her strength far greater than any human's. When they finally sealed the breach, smoke and steam filled the chamber. They collapsed against the bulkhead, breathing hard, their bodies pressed close in the dim light. Kai murmured, "Still think humans are worth allying with?" Lyra laughed, a sound like starlight on glass. "I think one human in particular has already proven it." And before Kai could reply, she kissed him, ending. Everything changes. The sabotage was traced back to extremists who opposed the Human Veari Pact. Their attempt had failed, but their actions had unintended consequences. The station's survival, credited to Kai and Lyra, became the symbol of a new trust. Soon after, the Dominion declared its formal alliance with humanity, and Lyra, revealed at last as the Veari Empress-in-waiting, stood before the leaders of Helios' crown and named Kai Mercer her chosen advisor. The mechanics stared at her in disbelief. "Advisor? Me?" Lyra's lips curved knowingly. "Do not pretend you are surprised. After all, it was your words that changed everything." And when the assembly murmured in confusion, she added with regal authority, "The human mechanic who dare tell me the truth will stand at my side. In politics, in war, and perhaps even in what lies beyond." Kai flushed, remembering the moment that had started it all. One careless comment, a slip of honesty, had reshaped the future of two civilizations. From that day forward, whenever he walked the halls of Helios' crown, people whispered of the mechanic and the Empress, the human who had spoken without fear, and the alien queen who had answered in kind. And though Kai never again joked about curves aloud, Lyra would sometimes lean close in private and whisper, with that secret smile of hers, "Perfect curves, was it? Then never forget, you were the first to notice."